Oh, if anyone doesn't want to be recorded, please leave now. So it's being recorded. Anyway, so today is January 14th, 2023, and we're having, I guess, our first AWC, no, yeah, our first AWC of the meeting of the year. There's 3 items for discussion. We'll start with the first one. The first one is the event dates. EK, since you're more familiar with the changes, you want to speak on that again?
Sure.
With what's happening with RAG and stuff.
So the two schedules, the previous schedule that was voted for approval, voted and approved upon, had several tentative dates, including Ragnarok. So the 3 previous tentative dates, which included Ragnarok and were in yellow, have been replaced by 2 proposed dates that are now in pink, which include Ragnarok. So the previous proposed schedule had Ragnarok in July, but the dates that have been approved by Coopers are now in May. The reason for that disconnect, we had 2 sets of dates, and we weren't sure which one we were going to get, but it seemed like the odds were more in favor that we were going to get the July dates. So after discussing this with the Coopers, they actually agreed to the previous May dates, which were the preference of the Ragnarok Board of Directors. And that's an 8-member council, by the way. That's not just like, a few people deciding. That's the Executive Council, which is the coordinator, treasurer, and accountant, and then the 5 BOD members. So that body voted on the 2 proposed dates, May and July, preferring May over July. Coopers did say at the time that the July was the more likely date we were going to get, so I went with that. Anyway, it turns out that the dates in the proposed schedule that are now in pink are the final approved dates for Ragnarok this year. But just to be thorough, those are now proposed for the Aratari schedule, along with the second event. That's in pink.
Oh, Pontius believes that the dates for Teutoburg Forest are wrong. Yep.
I got
Pontius.
Dominus.
Let me
Those
see.
dates were correct. We need to just fix that. Oh, what dates did you have, Pontius?
He's typing.
Okay.
Let me see what does it say. He doesn't have the exact dates with him right now.
Okay. Yeah, just discuss that with Dominus. Let me know, and we'll run it back through the mill.
Okay.
Thankfully, we're far enough ahead of the curve right now that we can have this conversation. Are you saying perhaps instead of 15th through 17th, it should be 14th, 17th? Are you thinking it's supposed to be a Thursday through Sunday? Oh, okay, you thought it was a week prior. Gotcha.
He said yes.
Yes, week prior, or yes, also Thursday through Sunday?
Yeah, he says yes week prior, but let him yes to both.
Okay.
Let him. He's gonna reach out and confirm the dates though. Okay. Would anyone move to vote on this?
What's that?
Now do we move to vote on this? Or,
I have a concern.
okay,
Uh,
what's your concern?
I the dates are fine with me. This will give us something to debate on. And I've already mentioned this before, but I find Redland Middle School kind of outdated and needs to go, is my opinion. Uh, I would like that to be considered to be moved based on my experiences of being there over the years. Even the last few times, it's basically.
So Shade,
Hold on, let me finish.
sorry,
Hold on, let me
sorry to
finish.
cut you off, but this is old business.
Oh,
Um, so I mean, you can bring that up in when we go to new business.
hold this.
Uh,
But this is on the schedule, right? This is part of the schedule.
oh really? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got. Yeah, true. Go ahead.
Okay. So my comment is to be brought up, well, whatever the form or the right context, but to move those two battles based on the attendance and where people travel from. It's basically everybody coming down totally different areas to get to Redland. Um, and I find the participation is very weak at that location, and even in general. So that's my opinion on Redland. And there's no latrine or potty. Anybody has to hit the head. I mean, yeah, you go in the woods, but it's out of school. Never good.
So are you proposing a different location, Shade?
Yes, I would
Location.
I would suggest Roundtree as kind of more of a middle point, and it has facilities easily accessible.
Oh, Cody says maybe.
Ponch is here. I second that.
Okay. Brody, would you like to say anything? I see you typing.
Oh, sorry, I was about to say the good thing is we have some lead time to look around and think about, whether we want to go to a location we already use or look around for, a location that we haven't used in a while, like Lay Hill Park or something like that. It's nice that we have some time to think about it. And if everybody likes Roundtree, I'm not going to object.
Right.
Lay Hill Park is even further away.
Oh, that was just a for example. It wasn't necessarily a suggestion.
Okay. Shade would definitely prefer that, right, Shade?
I've been there forever, but I'm fine with if somebody can come up with a better location, but I would like to pencil it in. That would be my suggestion unless we find something prior to, and we can circle back around and have another meeting on that. We have plenty of time, like Brody said.
Okay, so I guess I'll go look for new locations for the Halloween battle and Dead Dog, because that's the two. And since we have a new system of monitoring, I guess the general locations of the participants, we can try and pick a park that's within a reasonable area of the participants from the previous year's events.
Yeah, if you have that in place, I think that's a great.
Oh, I don't really have that fully developed yet. A lot of the waivers, unfortunately, didn't have zip codes on them, and I don't have it fully developed yet.
All right.
We'll definitely have it in the not too distant future.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple months to work on it. We can figure something out.
So was the Dead Dog for 2024 changed? Was that approved?
Well, you mean no? Dead Dog and Halloween just happen to be the two battles that are in Redland Middle School.
that change was not proposed, not seconded.
I don't know. Anybody second that?
I thought Pontius seconded.
Pontius did.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
proposed
I
it,
second
Pontius seconded.
I was asking rhetorically.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sure I heard that anyway.
Okay.
Josh, would you be willing to have people sort of suggest a couple locations to you, and then at the next meeting you could tell us which ones you thought were the most viable?
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. It might not be the next meeting, or it depends on when the next meeting happens. But yeah, because I mean, I'd have to go and to the locations and do some groundwork. But yeah, sure. I'll take any suggestions. And then, so, I mean, do we still want to vote on the RAG changes, or is there?
I think we should vote on the current proposed schedule.
Oh, okay. So, do we have to motion to vote?
I mean, we vote on the proposed schedule as it is. We'll adjust it later if we need to.
Okay. So the second thing, I think that was was an issue. Oh,
Give me 1 sec. I was typing this up. I apologize for not having it typed up before. So, in the AWC chat, to the 3 agenda items that I'm aware of. So during the last AWC meeting, we did have a discussion, and we did propose that our chapter council reps vote according to the will of the AWC regarding, I wrote regarding Ragnarok. I mean, that's incorrect. I mean regarding Dominus. Let me fix that.
okay.
So,
Yeah. What was it? Was this or just need to vote on the proposal? Yes. So the next so the next issue was that we need vote to ensure our chapter representatives vote to reverse the ban on the Omnis as part of his appeal, and they will also vote according to the will of the AWC regarding Dominus. See two people typing. Um, did everyone read the report from Dominus? And I guess Trent, you can go ahead and speak.
So it's my understanding that what this vote is to do just is to make sure that our representatives are voting the way we instruct them to vote as opposed to however they want to vote. Is that correct?
that's the intent of this, yes.
Anyone else have any questions, comments, complaints, grievances about the issue?
I just want to clarify that the report from Dominus that you're talking about was the one that was posted rather long last month. Same one, right?
Yeah, this is yeah, before Saturnalia, like just before it. So like mid-December, I think.
Okay.
Where was it posted?
It was in one of our chats.
It was posted on the Dagger here, the main Dagger here board, their main board, and then also he sent it to a bunch of council representatives.
Oh,
Not the other boards.
okay. And then so Steve Foster said there is a scheduled discussion of the reversal by vote request of Dominus. The chapter council will then decide if they want to vote to reverse the vote. It has already been requested of the chapter council. The chapter council has not yet reviewed any of the information other than the email sent by Dominus. January 22 is the scheduled meeting.
Thanks for that, Cameron.
Hey, Steve, Mike here. Are you saying that on the 22nd, a decision will be made of whether or not the chapter council wants to take up the issue? Or that a vote will be taken on the 22nd?
Oh, so
They'll vote to decide whether or not they want to vote.
yeah.
Yeah, they posted it on the chapter council thing. They're what they actually, it's a yes or no question. They're going to be whether they want to discuss it before seeking legal representation, and they decide they want to discuss it at the meeting on the 22nd.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or comments, suggestions?
So that ties into the third agenda item that we have to decide whether or not we want to, how we as the Aratari would like to vote for whether or not we want this to be voted upon. We could cover two things: whether or not we as the Aratari want there to be a vote at the chapter council, and then if we do want there to be a vote, how we as the Aratari would vote.
Well, one of our reps has already voted that she wants to vote on it.
Okay, so do we have to second that?
Oh, this is an online vote? Sorry for, I have not been following up on this. Until when do we have to decide that, Timrin? Luda? Maybe I misunderstood you, Trent. You're saying this was an online vote?
Yes, he posted it on the council chapter board, and then he left it open for 2 weeks to vote up and down on the question of do we want to discuss this before we seek legal counsel? That was the first thing proposed. The second thing proposed was, do we want to have a separate meeting for the Dominus issue, or do we want to roll it into the meeting on the 22nd? The voting, as far as I know, is closed. The council decided that they want to discuss the issue without seeking legal counsel and have a vote as to whether or not they're going to vote on it. And no, they're decided not to have a separate meeting, and it's going to be discussed and rolled into the meeting on the 22nd of January.
Oh, can someone give Timorin
Yeah, I got it.
ability to speak?
I'll do that.
And Luda voted that she wanted to vote on it, and then she didn't want to have a separate meeting about the Dominus issue.
Timur, try it now.
And you may have to log in and then log back out.
Or other way, but yeah.
All right, can you hear me now? All right, can you hear me now?
Dark water. Timor and dark water.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep, loud and
Yep.
clear.
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. All right, so what was
That's
your
your fault.
question, EK?
Oh, so I don't get on Discord very often. You did tell me I should though. So the vote for this is already closed, but it appears I didn't vote. I didn't know about it.
The vote for what?
Whether or not we would want to discuss this at the chapter council meeting.
Okay, so there was an online vote in the National Dagger here as to whether or not people wanted to discuss the issue at the January 22nd meeting to hear the information regarding the reversal by vote. And then the second question was whether or not to hold a earlier meeting to discuss it or just to put off that discussion until January 22nd. The decision was made that the chapter council does in fact want to hear the information so that they can get everything before deciding whether or not to make the vote, but that they decided that they will discuss it at the 22nd meeting, not hold a separate meeting to discuss it. So as it stands right now, the discussion of Dominus's request for a reversal by vote will happen on January 22nd at the chapter council meeting.
Awesome, thank you. That was
Yes,
very clear and concise.
no problem. Did you have any other questions?
Thanks, Tim.
No, sir, I do not.
Thanks for your input, though.
So does anyone have any questions or comments?
Jan 22nd is at 7 p.m.
That's my understanding.
Correct.
So we just need to vote on the Aratari chapter council reps voting according to the will of the AWC regarding Dominus.
I think we need to just make sure they vote according to our will in general.
That's a separate proposal. That proposal
Yeah.
has to be worded very carefully. This is a very
Okay.
specific and focused request.
So yeah, because if you look at the last recording from the last meeting, there was a couple issues that were raised, but so Pontius, who is the Rome rep, just proposed that we vote. I guess so. We have to vote on it now. I'm kind of not following.
No. But the vote is to make sure our council reps vote the way that the AWC says on this issue.
Yeah. So no. Do we have to?
Then we should discuss the issue of whether or not the AWC wants this to be overturned. There's two separate things, I guess.
Okay. So at this point, what should I do? Oh well, Trent, go ahead. Do you have a hand?
As far as, so I guess we have to discuss whether we want Dominus to be banned or not.
Okay.
But from what my point of view, we have no information. There's just nothing. We don't know why he's been banned. We don't know the process that was followed to come up with the ban. We don't know anything about it. So I don't know how, in the absence of any evidence, we can vote to ban him.
I think that by definition, that means we should vote to overturn the ban. If we have no evidence and we don't know what the ban is for, we should absolutely not enforce a ban, and we should probably vote to overturn a ban.
I completely agree. That was my point.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments? Shall we call a vote, or does someone have to call a vote other than me? I'm
The
not sure.
proposal needs to be made. Someone needs to second it, and then we need to vote. And
The proposal was already made in the last meeting.
this is two
and-
separate issues. Oh, that's true. The other one, you
It
can't.
was made in the last meeting, and it was already seconded, so I guess we just have to vote on it, right?
You're correct.
Found in the chat channel.
Can you repeat that? I kind of missed.
I believe the text of what we're voting on can be found in the chat channel. It's one of Pontius's latest. I think is the earliest.
Hey, this is Pontius. Yeah, I think we just need to vote on this.
Okay, let's begin the vote then.
So clearly state whether yes means vote to overturn, and then there's a separate vote for the chapter council reps voting the will of the AWC.
Okay, so we'll do the first one, which is voting to overturn the lifetime ban on Dominus. So currently we have Rome, Justice and Guard reps.
They should probably do it over on the vote.
Yeah. So I guess I'm waiting for your responses in the chat.
Yeah. Everyone should be voting AWC chat votes. And we count it up.
And mind you, it should have been stated at the start of the meeting. There are only 3 units in the Aratari currently that have voting rights. That's Guard, Rome, and Justigeist.
What do we need for it to go through?
Simple majority.
Okay.
I think that's everybody.
It's like a 4-2 vote.
Isn't it's a 4-2 vote? Isn't it just
Oh, the Guard rep can cast both votes. Since he's the only one voting for the Guard, that's both votes.
Oh. I don't get what he's saying. Oh yeah.
He's saying his
Oh okay, yeah.
votes for the Guard both are vote. Dominus should remain banned.
Okay. So that's what's it, 4-2?
Yep.
Do we record anything at the end in the AWC chat votes?
I mean, ideally, somewhere you want to say that it was the vote was 4-2.
Okay.
What that means, but yeah.
And then, all right, thanks. So then the second thing to vote on was, what was it? The Aratari Chapter Council must vote according to the will of the chapter regarding Dominus. Right. Well, isn't oh yeah, sure. See, down to vote by this. Okay. Any other votes?
We're still waiting on Rome and Orzov.
So and then what was the third thing?
So the proposal was approved 4-0.
Okay. And then okay, so that's that. So I guess we're done with old business. Right. Okay, so is there any new business that anyone would like to bring up? Okay, no one wants to bring up anything. Goshe, did you want to bring up anything? 'Cause I heard a mumble.
No, I didn't say anything. I made my
Okay.
input earlier.
Does anyone want to say anything? Comments, suggestions, grievances, complaints?
Well, Shade, you didn't. Let me make sure I understand. For Halloween, you weren't proposing a change away from Redland, were you?
Yes,
Yes.
For both? Okay. Redland in general.
both. Yes, there's two sites that are Redland. I propose both to go to Roundtree, at least as a placeholder, and if something better is found. But that's what I propose.
Would put if we so hypothetically, if we change those two Redland sites to Roundtree, our October through January would be 4 events at Roundtree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pontius, Rody has a hand. Rody, you want to say anything?
Sure. I mean, just about the locations, perhaps it might be a good idea, Thresh. Kind of like took out our mental map and looked where events were being held and maybe try to plug a hole, as it were, or find a space so we're having events all across Atari's area. Like I love that we added something around Southern Maryland. You know, we have some Virginia, we have some up a little north. Just sort of
Sure.
see maybe where the holes are geographically, so we make sure everybody has an opportunity to have a close battle, and and they're not
Sure.
always far away for somebody.
Cody, may I throw out two things? First, Mace and all of Eleutheria has said that they do not intend to attend Aratari events anymore, except for campouts. And even at the camphouse, they're not sure whether or not they would even fight. Second, I have added the center of the world, if you will, for both individual attendance as well as event attendance, as one of the things that's going to be part of the database. It's all based on the lat long from the U.S. Postal Service center of the or location of the postal zip codes. So as we make sure we have all of the postal zip codes for all of our attendees, and of course, up-to-date waivers, you'll be able to derive the center of the Dagger Hero world, the center of the Dagger Hero participation world, as well as, or I'm saying Aratari, as well as the center of the Aratari participation per event. So I agree with what you're saying 100%. Having a spread is helpful. Dunkirk Park with the Eltheria basically announcing that they will not be attending events anymore. I know Luda was at the last battle at Dunkirk. I'm not sure if you were, Rody, but there was a
Right. Well,
lot of
yeah. I mean, I'm not
Eltheria
necessarily,
there.
again, I'm not necessarily saying Dunkirk. For me, it was
Sure,
wonderful because
sure.
I'm in Upper Marlboro now.
You
I
live in
never
Upper
knew
Marlboro.
that
That's really
we
close.
started Watkins Regional Park. But
Right.
no, what I'm saying is that we could use this as an opportunity to look where we have our battle space geographically, and make sure we had, a nice spread so everybody
That's
sort of had
that's
opportunity.
entire that's entirely the point I was attempting to make. Both the center of the Dagger Hero participation universe, as well as the participation per event. We'll be able to determine that soon, as soon as we have all the complete zip codes for everybody.
I think we're
Am I
agreeing.
making sense?
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying when I'm talking about the center of the membership as well as the participation um, center of participation, the membership? Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Right. Right. So in reality, though, that will become factual data once you have participants log going to the battle, and then you could
That's
track
correct.
what zip code they're coming from.
And we can pin the center of those zip codes on the map and
Yeah,
say this
yeah,
is.
yeah. No, I
So
think
we just
that's a great idea. But since we're not there yet, at least on my proposal, until that's factually set, but based upon my visual um, being at those last few years at those sites, the participation's been 90% the other direction. So until
right.
that data is factual, I'd like my proposal to be on board.
So your point that you're making is that your observation of the participation for Halloween and Dead Dog is primarily people coming from Virginia side of the
Yes,
universe over to the Maryland side for those events.
yes,
Those are two very poorly attended events.
yes, they are, and but exactly. So that's why I'm going this direction for that, and then things can change, and the fact and the data will state that if once that's on board.
For
Yeah, and for me, if you get that data down there and you have 90, even 80%, 70, 80% coming the other direction, well, that's okay. That's clear consensus. Well, yeah, maybe we need to switch it to somewhere else. If that participation's back over on the Maryland side.
I propose to Rondo Park.
I honestly think it is that specific site because it is a problematic site. We can't book it. There are no bathrooms. So it's always sort of been problematic because obviously people can get the area because our Lake Meadwood ones are fairly well attended. So I think it's the site itself that people don't like. Possibly they're busy having hangovers on January 1st. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think it's both of those things. It's all those things combined.
We're talking about day battles. Has it's been a while since I was magistrate of the Aratari, but do we have event insurance now or no?
No, we don't.
Okay, because I was gonna say we could always give Page's Farm another try.
Whoa.
And Mountain Run is
Shut up!
also.
I know that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So something happened with Page's Farm. I think they stopped having us. Marietta House stopped having those types of events at their location. One by one, as we've had places that we were kind of like set on, they've disappeared.
I know Marriotta's not doing night events, but are they not doing day events either?
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a good point.
Because that site is awesome and perfect.
It is. They have 2 nice fields.
Which one is that again?
Marietta
Marietta Mansion.
Oh yeah, they quit. I think they quit having us.
They quit.
No, they
it
quit having
wasn't- it
overnight
wasn't they
events.
quit having us. They quit
Oh.
having the camp out events.
Well,
like
camp out because of some
our,
another
our,
group.
our
Yes.
style events. Yeah. They
Oh, that
stopped
place
having
was
those
great. Yeah.
type of events. It wasn't like they targeted us. Now, in Greenbelt Park had a problem with a Darkon camp out where they left a big mess. And because Darkon and Dagger here do similar things, I spoke with the guy who actually approves or disapproves reservations. And he was adamant that we're the same people, we're the same group, and that he didn't see any difference between us and that we were banned.
Wow.
I argued with him, explained the appeals process, and at the end of that, he explained, of course. I said, so if I file an appeal, who ultimately would make the decision of whether or not they would approve it? And he said, well, I would. Him. I said, so would you approve it? And he said, no. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Literally said, let me explain the appeals process to you just so you could do that, didn't you? That's silly.
Mm.
Anyway, one by one, we've lost sites due to either their policy changes or, in the case of Greenbelt, because they didn't want us there anymore. Because Darkon caused a problem for us. We've also used Leonore Vineyard in the past. That's up there a bit. That's a bit of a drive. I know Mountain Run, Rome has used Mountain Run now 3 times. And it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, Lingonor's kind of tiny.
Yeah, that's what you said. Also a bit of a haul.
Well, I just think that someone should talk to Marietta Mansion and see if they're doing day events. Because if we can get a day event there, the name of the place is awesome.
The record show, Trent will call Marietta House and see if they're open to day events.
Sure, I'll call them. I've done that before. I'm
Sorry,
trying to
Brad.
get parks around here. I got 2 parks lined up in my area now. You guys should come to Rondo Park. It's only 80 miles from you.
It's not bad. Believe me, I've driven further for less.
We should all just like try to pitch parks that are very close to our own homes.
Yeah. What happened to Clover Whales Park? Put that back on the menu.
There you go. That's Shade's backyard.
It literally is.
How's the National Mall, please?
I'm actually doing a house right by your house, Shade.
Say, you're doing what?
I'm renovating a house right by your house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the other side of 95 from you.
Oh, wow, that's cool. Huh. All right.
It only takes me an hour and 40 minutes to get there, but you know.
It's the downside of contracting.
Okay, so new business.
Brody has a hand.
I was just wondering, it came up in a different conversational thread that somebody sort of said, whatever happened to Yule Feast? And part of what happened is Adelphi Mill is still closed for renovations, you know.
Yeah, we used to use that one place, the oh my gosh. What's the name of the group that held that? We rented that site like 10 times.
I was just wondering if that was something.
Isaac Walton League. Yeah,
Oh yeah, with the giant moose.
we lost that site too.
The common thread here seems to be you, Ericos.
Me?
I was just wondering if that was something the AWC was interested in us trying to find an indoor location to have an indoor winter event for Yule Feast, or if we just want to just sort of let it drop until next year. I was just wondering what the interest in AWC was in pursuing that.
I'm open to looking into that, but what is Yule Feast?
So in the
Well,
olden
it's
days,
just a
in
party.
the time before time, there used to be a Aratari party in January. It was close to New Year's Eve, but like the week after, roughly a week or two after. For years and years and years, the was the WOG slash Gwynedd kind of like group hosted this feast. WOG and company basically were the people that hosted this feast for years and years and years, and then they stopped. And then I think Gwynedd started it back up, and then I think Jessica ran it for about what, 5 or 10 years.
Well, I did it for a year, 2 years, and Gwynedd posted both years I was magistrate. But you know, Gwynedd still has Yule Feast, and that's actually where their reps are right now.
Oh really? They have their own Yule Feast?
I know that because one of their leaders lives 20 minutes from my house, and he's actually going to join the River Kingdom's realm because we're just so far out.
So that's a unit.
When you
event.
say that they have a Yule Feast, it'd be like saying we have a Yule Feast. I mean, Jessica has a Yule Feast. It would be.
We did. We had it at your house on New Year's.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is we could say we had a Yule Feast. That'd be kind of like whatever.
Right. Well, Guard did 12th night last year, but we didn't do it. You know, it was at my house, literally. I was just wondering because a few people said, "Oh, we really miss Yule Feast," and it was a nice.
What it requires, Rhodey, is someone saying that they want to host Yule Feast, putting it on the schedule, securing a location,
right,
and then taking care of it.
No, I just wanted to get a feel for what the will was for that.
And what we did in the past, and what we've done with the Guard in the past, and other groups, is we've said, okay, you're hosting this event. The Aratari will partially back that event, but not fully back the event. Then we can decide how we want to do that. But if you say we want to do this, but it's cost prohibitive, suppose the Isaac Walton League or wherever costs, like, hypothetically, it's $1,000 to rent the place. Well, the Aratari, I think, could easily agree, will cover the rent of the place, but then you cover everything else. Then at the same time, you have to share the proceeds from the door, you know what I mean? I'm sure we could reach an agreement if somebody has the will to host this feast going forward.
I guess I was gauging the interest.
Yes, please.
Anything else for new business? Nope. Okay, meeting adjourned.
Great job, Chris.
Roughly goodbye.